I'm gonna call the meeting to order only because there are time constraints, because there's so many meetings going on. So if everyone would please stand, do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next on the agenda, we're gonna do the approval of minutes. Has everyone seen the minutes from the last meeting? If not, we can pass them around.
Pass it around, please.
And I apologize for my spelling errors, because I was doing that in like 1 minute, trying to get.
I typed this out, we met November 74.
No, that's okay. I made an error in the agenda, so we're all equal, so.
Hell of a note.
All right. So, do we want to read the minutes, or do we want to just push off and do the minutes?
What do you want to do?
Let John read them because he wrote them.
Okay, John, read the minutes.
He can,
And then we can make a decision if we want to accept them or not. Go ahead, John.
That's the, my only copy there.
I was gonna say, I can't read the damn thing if you take it away.
Okay,
Well, you can't read it if you're holding it.
Oh,
We gotta go quick.
Reverend Morrison Meetinghouse Study Committee meeting minutes, Thursday, November 14th.
That's fine.
In attendance were Kathy Wagner, John Blay, Frank Holdsworth, David Ellis, Larry Casey, Dan Gore, Town Clerk Sherry Farrell, and Kirsten Hildebrand, Administrative Support Coordinator. Call to order. Kathy called the meeting to order at 6:08, and we saluted the flag. No public comment. New business to develop a plan to open and repair the meeting house. Old business, getting feedback from the committee members. Kirsten questioned if we should approach the town council now for approval of the Arcove proposal. It could take 8 weeks to process once approved. Larry questioned, why do we have our meeting to discuss this? Is there funding available? We should push it forward. Kathy suggested that we ask for a warrant article for $150,000 to establish a trust fund. As suggested, we start small when it comes to taxpayers. She noted that one of the heating units at the hall is damaged. Wait for financing in order to deal with that. Once the Arcove approval is approved, we can request funding grants, including New Hampshire Preservation Association for $4,500. Dan, with regards to financing, people and taxpayers would want to know the final counts. Sherry suggested that Kathy attend the next town council meeting, which would be November 18th. Kathy is the most qualified, and she should submit the Arcove proposal for approval. This should have the effect of bringing the community together. Kathy said that if the funding is approved for the Arcove proposal, we should ask for the warrant article in December. By doing this, we are doing what we were commissioned to do so by the town. Once this happens, we need to identify in detail our plan for the $150,000 warrant article. David, we need to ask the town for financing now, trying to bring this building back. Next meeting is December 5th.
That's what we talked, but look
Okay.
what happened at the council changed that.
Time flies by, I guess. We should know something by then. Approval of minutes from the November 7th meeting. Motion by David, second by Frank. Adjourned. Motion by Frank, second by David. Sorry about the delay.
motion we accept is read.
I second.
All in favor? Or Ray, did you want to say something?
No,
Okay.
am I allowed to vote?
I'm gonna appoint you tonight, so
Okay.
put that in the minutes. Ray's been appointed as a voting member this
Yeah.
evening. Okay,
Yeah, I approve.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, wait, I wasn't here.
Oh, then don't,
Yeah, sure.
don't do the minutes.
No, I can't,
Well, you can still vote.
No, he can't, he
No.
needs to abstain.
if I wasn't here, I don't know.
Okay, he needs to
Okay,
abstain.
so, but the four of us,
Abstain,
the four of us accept the minutes as well.
Okay.
Okay, so the first, I'm
I
sorry.
can accept them too,
Okay.
because I.
Deb, are you here as the public, or, because but do you want to speak?
No, I'm just gonna listen right now, if that's okay.
Okay,
Madam Chair.
because I skipped that part and I apologize. Okay, so now we're on to new business. And the first line item in the new business is the fact that at the the November, what was last week, 15th,
November
14th, 13th, well,
November
I
18th
think
was-
November 12th meeting, the council was presented the ARCO presentation, and it failed without a second.
This was November 12th?
Yes, last Tuesday.
How
This
can it
was
be-
Wait a minute,
presented.
this is the 21st, that's not.
Right, but last week, Ray, I presented the ARCO presentation on November 12th, and it failed in front of the town council without a second.
Was Monday,
How can you,
right?
how
No, it
can,
was not, Monday was,
No, they took,
Veterans Day.
Tuesday, right, this
The
past Tuesday, not last week, this
Right.
week.
no, but it was, I thought it was the 18th, I hate to be wrong.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah,
think it
They had
was.
another, they had two council meetings in a row.
yeah.
One was on
Yeah,
Tuesday, then the
yeah.
next one was on
Okay,
Monday.
then it was the 18th.
I just-
I don't know, I'm
I
getting
just
all
want you to be
these
accurate,
things.
that's all. 'cause
No, that's fine, then it was
It was
the 18th.
Tuesday then, right?
No,
I don't know,
Tuesday
last
was the
week,
12th.
whatever
Yeah, but-
last week was.
Right.
This
But
week,
we've
last
had,
Monday.
we've
This
had a
Monday.
meeting in between.
No,
Can I call a timeout, please?
Yeah.
everybody
Right,
just,
yeah,
Can I call a timeout, please?
yeah.
Certainly.
what was last week?
The amount of time we spend on irrelevant things, like when it happened, just drives me crazy.
it was the day after Veterans Day.
It was-
No, it was last week. Larry's right,
It was last week.
November 18th.
No,
It wasn't Monday, I don't think it was.
So-
it was
so
Tuesday.
It was Tuesday.
The day,
No,
They
it
did-
wasn't?
They didn't get a second?
Okay, I think, let's just.
We don't have to pin the date down.
Right,
There was a
let's-
town
I-
council.
It's either the 18th or the 19th.
There
We
was
will
a-
It was
confirm
definitely
the date.
Monday, it was definitely Monday the 18th.
Wait,
Okay,
Okay.
all right, so let's move on. So at the 18th meeting, the archive request was not approved due to the lack of a second.
But it wasn't declined, it just wasn't approved. They're gonna move it to next Monday.
I thought they were having a special meeting for that.
Monday, right?
So my understanding, which I haven't gotten any confirmation from anyone in the town, other than Kirsten being very kind last night and calling, told me they're holding a special meeting on the 26th.
I
Tuesday.
stayed in the meeting. I attended the meeting and I stayed through the meeting to the point where they finalized that agenda item and moved on to the next one. And I don't know when you left, but what
I
happened.
left right when they didn't pass it.
Okay, so after the motion was made by Ted Combs to make a provisional vote, the thing that they were sorting out at that point was that Justin Campo was 99% sure that the dollar amount of the proposal would fall under an exemption for going out to bid because it represented professional services. And were you in the meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
100%.
And so he just wanted to verify that that was the case before, he committed that it was okay to do that. So what happened was, he asked for 10 minutes to do research on that. I think you may have left by that point.
No, I was still there, I asked
So
them
he
to
came
move
back and he
forward.
verified that it was eligible
For
under
that.
that professional
But
services
they still
provision.
seconded. I mean, they still didn't get the second.
It didn't get a second, and what happened was that the chairman, Chad Franz, suggested that there be a special town council meeting this coming Tuesday, I believe,
26th.
to bring it up again and to, have a discussion and make a determination as to whether to move forward with the proposal or not. So while it was not accepted during that meeting, to your point, Sherry, it was not shut down. It's still an open issue, and they're meeting specifically at 6:30 on Tuesday evening
Right, yeah.
to bring it up again, and my expectation is that they will bring it to a vote and make a decision.
Okay.
Would you
So
say it
now-
was Tuesday at 6:30?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
is it
so now that we
6:30?
have the actual facts on that, the chairman needs to disclose that she will not be available to attend that meeting. That was part of the reason why I called this meeting tonight, was I need to hear from you, all of you. Larry, you're first.
I'm what?
First to go.
What did you ask?
What's
I
the
said,
question?
I can't be here on Tuesday, so I need to hear from you, who's gonna, what's gonna happen, like, who's gonna present, who's gonna be there?
Well, I'll be there. I can be there,
Well, I was planning to be there anyway.
yeah.
Okay, so,
And I will be there.
okay, so you guys will take up the mantle to further our cause to get that approval.
Yeah, and if you want me to speak for the committee during that session, I'm happy to do that, or anybody else can as well.
Yeah.
I don't
However you
know, I
direct
don't
us.
know if we need a motion since Derek is our vice chair, and technically it would fall to him, but I'm very comfortable with Larry
Yeah.
being our spokesperson. Is there a consensus here for that?
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Did you get hold of Derek, by the way?
No,
Can I say something?
yes,
There was also discussion by someone about sunsetting this committee. There hasn't been any decision made on that, has there?
That's the
No.
second, that's the next item on the agenda.
that was my question I wanted to run by all of you, because if it does fail, do we continue? Is it worthwhile at this point? I mean, I don't like speaking as the chair, I wanna hear from you guys, but I kinda feel like Monday of last week was one of the counselors, kinda was like, well, we did this committee and we did all of this, and it was like kind of a slap in the face, because we kinda did do what you asked, and now you're questioning.
Yeah, my feeling on this is that we did what they asked, what we were commissioned to do, and this really should not be a no. This should be a final yes, you've done the task, what you were commissioned, and now we're moving forward with the amount that was asked for. And I think that's what we have to encourage them. I do believe they're leaning that way. But I mean, this committee, as we said last time, we put a lot of time and effort into this, all of us. And the feeling is that our Reverend Morrison House needs to be saved. So I don't feel that they're representing the people if this is a nay. And I think if it goes in that direction, Larry, you and I speak up directly and without holding back, because otherwise we've wasted our time, honestly. Because I joined this in good faith, believing the building is going to be saved.
Right.
And we have put hours into this. And I believe it's what our residents want, or we represent.
Right.
Yeah, I think, a part of the problem with the town council agreeing to move forward, it seems like they don't feel comfortable. And part of the problem is what the cost is going to be. And we have some information in that regard. We have the Weston Sampson report, but that's not really what we're talking about. We can use that, and we can have the other people, ARCO, use that, or at least view that, but they've got to come out with their own idea of cost. And I don't think the town council really feels comfortable that they have an idea if it's gonna be a warrant article, how much is it gonna be? Is it gonna be 100,000? Is it gonna be 125,000? Is it gonna be 700,000? And so, and those figures, particularly when we're talking about the foundation and so forth, none of us have any of those figures. And until
We
the
take this
work
next
we've
step.
done to bring in these groups to finalize that,
Phase one.
in phase one, has to be, a figure has to be brought up, you know, is it going to be $60,000? Is it gonna be $125,000? What is it going to be? And then, the other figures, as far as the heating system, if the heating system needs to be done, there's no sense putting an antiquated system in. We want something that's gonna be efficient,
Yeah.
okay?
Which is what Kathy would, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, that has to be figured out. The other things have to be figured out, and those costs, somehow we have to come up with that. We've done the work to get the engineer, you have, and so, but we really don't have those figures yet.
And that's what phase one will bring us, and that's, yeah.
Larry,
The-
and then you, Frank.
The purpose of I agree with you,
Yeah.
and the purpose of the proposal is to create the framework and detail,
Right.
based on their assessment, what needs to be done. At which point, the town can go out to bid for, and in a phased approach. That was part of the proposal, that they're gonna determine what needs to be done, by and large, and recommend a phased approach to addressing those items, at which point the town can go out to bid for quotes. But there's nothing that we can do between now and next Tuesday, or even between now and March, in my opinion, to
Exactly.
come up with figures
That's
that are
what
gonna be
phase one
accurate.
is
You
going
have,
to do.
if the agreement is signed next week, it's gonna take 8 weeks for them to do the assessment and come back with a report. And that's the foundation for the next step in the process in terms of getting to what you're talking about.
You know,
And they may
but-
sunset us or not.
But
We haven't done
unless
that.
unless that gets put into a warrant article by the first of the year, it ain't gonna happen until next year.
Well, I'm not sure
Well,
that it can happen
I'm
between now
gonna-
and March anyway, but.
Right, but I'm gonna go to Frank. Go, Frank.
Okay. My understanding is the town told somebody's not to fix it,
The heating?
the heating.
Well, that was, they were, until this plan gets into play. they thought
Right,
it
that
would-
was,
yeah.
and I will
Yeah.
admit, that was me. I said, why are we spending money
But
on
that was
heating until we
Reasonable
approve?
and
Right.
accurate, right.
And that was part of the reason why I said in our discussion that we should ask for some money in the amount of the 150 trust, so that we have it for repairs, we have it for further engineering and all this other items that we needed, and if we don't use it and we end up being told nobody wants it and it's destroyed, then we can give that money back to the taxpayer. I'm gonna go out of protocol, cause we have only one citizen in the room and they asked to speak, so.
Yeah, I just think one thing that would be beneficial, thank you, Mike, for doing that, Madam Chair. The one thing I think that would be beneficial for having this group continue is the fact that you guys need to determine, do fact-finding mission and figure out what the purpose or the actual use is for this building, because that's gonna affect a lot of the decisions you guys make with the engineering moving forward. I mean, if it's just gonna be, like an auditorium sort of thing, it's gonna need different structural things than if it's gonna be a function hall, or, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I really think that has to be a priority, or should I have said my name? Deb Paul, 118 Hardy Road, sorry. But I really think that, and that is the way you extend this group. You tell them that we're gonna, as an extension of us, we're gonna get this, cause it has to kind of work together in sequence moving forward, while we're gathering figuring out the basics, but we also need to be able to tell those engineers, this is what we wanna use this building for, and a perfect place to do that is at the March elections, having a table there and ask people, what do you wanna do with this building? And maybe do a monkey survey, have Kristen put it up on the,
Town.
thank you, on the website, and to, you know, just get some data. I don't know,
Yeah.
it's just, I think that if you do that though, then you're showing that you have a purpose for getting this engineering, cause we need to know what we wanna do and how we're gonna do it, and then we can give you the final presentation. That then extends the life of this committee, which was to figure out how much it's gonna cost, right?
And they did.
Anybody have any comments?
Thank you for letting me speak.
No, no problem. All I have to say is, I think as a committee, we've done a fabulous job of what we were dealt with. We were promised, which was why I was pretty disappointed Monday night. We were promised, and please correct me if I am wrong, that there would be funds for this organization, this committee,
Exactly.
to have available to us. I mean,
Exactly.
Mike Malaguti sat here and said it here, and he also said it in our initial meeting, that there would be funds available for us to use to try to come to determination.
From my perspective, having sat through the meeting, and anybody can go back and look at the video, you know, of the meeting, I don't recall anything being said last week that would negate the possibility of having funding available.
Okay,
I don't, and you know, also, I don't get a sense from anybody involved in this process that tearing the building down is a desirable option. I mean, we all went into it with the notion that we wanted to restore and revitalize it, and I've not heard anything from anybody on the town side of the equation personally that would suggest that that's the end game for anybody.
I think we just need to clarify, you know, what Mike said and where that money would possibly come from.
Well, that was put on the record the other
Justin,
night,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I
I really think we're gonna be okay on that.
yeah, it was put on the record the other night, and I don't think it needs to be belabored. I just, you
Okay,
know,
maybe I missed it.
if you were in the meeting last week, you would have heard that.
From the town, from
Yeah,
the
it
town
was brought-
managers.
It's on the record that it was
From
brought up.
Justin too,
Yeah,
right,
it was brought up
Justin
just-
needed that 10 minutes, but in like 5 minutes, he's like, okay, I feel good, well, he just needed to wrap his head around.
Okay.
And then make sure
Yeah,
he wasn't
yeah,
speaking
okay.
too soon on
But-
it.
You're right, you're right, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's all right, it was a lot going on.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
The only thing I would say about, not, you know, whether this committee gets sunsetted or not, I personally feel that we need the town council to revisit the charge and update it. You know, we, to the best of our ability and through a lot of time and effort, we did what we could to fulfill the initial charge. We were asked to present to the town council by, you know, at the beginning of October.
Which we did.
We took the further step of, you know, reaching out to this company in Portsmouth to have a proposal delivered, which is the foundation for moving forward, you know, to determine the cost and all those sorts of things. But I think it's time for the town council to revisit the charge and be more specific about what their expectations are from us. Because quite frankly, when this group was put together and the charge was issued, in hindsight, I think it was ambitious, and I think there was a lot of mixed messaging that went on through the entire process, which didn't help our cause. And so I would just say that if they're not gonna sunset it, if they're gonna continue on, that I would like to see more specific objectives and milestones set by the town council.
I agree with you, Larry, 100%, and I think that was the disappointment that I felt when I was giving the presentation, that even the counselors didn't even know what they charged us to do. And I think we fulfilled what the charge was. And I also think that we were, everything leads back, even what Kirsten and Dave Wally was saying is, we can't move on until we get this structural engineering thing. We're not gonna have real numbers till we get to that point. And to take that away, I found when I was sitting there, the lack of what we were presenting, I was very disappointed. And, you know, I mean, I sit here and I watch every town in the state of New Hampshire is trying to save their historic structures, right? We've been to a lot of them. Wyndham, Franklin, Salem, Moultonborough, Exeter, I mean, the list goes on.
Yes.
And we're leading the way to putting roadblocks, so we raise it. And that means tear it down for people that don't know what it means. And that's why I was so disappointed, because this structure deserves courtesy. It really does. And for us, we have different opportunities too. This was going to be the first time that the town was willing to open the floor so we could see the sills. You know, there was a lot in this proposal, a lot of opportunity. And I just think the council, kind of,
I'm not sure that I understood why we had to put it off a week.
right,
Because you presented it well, we met our charge. I believe that they were heading in the direction of just approving it. Justin was thinking about it, but he clarified that part of it, he didn't even need the 10 minutes. He felt comfortable moving forward. So at that point, I think we were all ready for, yes, let's take one off the books and move on to the next thing. But the decision was made to, let's give it a week, which led us to believe does that mean it's gonna go this way now? I don't think it is. I think it's more they needed another week to wrap their head around it, to have a vote.
see,
to
the
say
thing
move
I'm worried about is we are going to have to next year. If this moves in the way we want, are we gonna put $10,000 into a patchwork of heating to keep the building alive? Or are we gonna get started? And that was my reasoning for going for the first round. Just to have some money in the bank to go after grants, to go after things. And we can't even approach the voters without the fact that we're on the track of trying to get this information.
Well,
And that's the scary part.
I appreciate and understand all of that, but I'm kind of laser focused on next week's meeting. I mean,
Just get there, get it
we
done.
gotta get that behind us. And then we're scheduled to reconvene on the 5th.
I think after the meeting, we'll come back on the 5th.
Yeah, I would like to suggest that we just table that discussion until after the vote next week.
to see.
So which
And-
tables are you asking
Just,
for?
I'm hearing your concern about repairing the HVAC system and, not having time to pull together a warrant article and all that sort of thing. But for the purposes of tonight's meeting, which we have a hard stop at 7, right? Somebody has this
Right.
room. I'm gonna suggest that we just focus on what we need to accomplish next week. And,
Yeah,
Okay,
and then
so
pick up the
so
discussion
we have a
afterwards.
plan.
So
Larry,
Larry, or Sherry, are you going to sit, or does anybody else?
I absolutely, well, I'll
Yeah,
be there, so.
I'll be there.
Yeah,
So, Sherry, I would welcome Sharon.
whatever you need, you direct, but I will be there, so.
And we do need a consensus, because I want to represent the views of everybody here regarding any discussion about sunsetting the committee. And I've shared my view, which is that if this process is going to move forward, I would like to see the town council come back with a refreshed charge based on what we've accomplished to this point and what we need specifically to do in order to move the process forward and satisfy them that the work that we're delivering is meeting their expectations.
Does anybody have any?
It's perfect,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think we've met their expectations.
I'm not sure about that, but,
You're not sure about that?
well, there was one counselor that seemed confused about what we were supposed to be doing the other night.
Oh, well,
And so,
What,
And that's what I'm concerned about, the
One of
charge was
four.
so,
one
We
of four
can
doesn't.
read the charge back to them, or give them it and have them read the thing.
I think we just gotta get to Tuesday night now,
Yeah.
and then clarify, cause then we can get into what we were all excited about right at the beginning. The fundraising, the bringing the community together, the purpose, like, is it gonna be the Boy Scouts and maybe groups of under 100? And that's where the energy will come from the community, but we just gotta get through this first, get
Well,
to
I
Tuesday
think-
night.
I think I was surprised, and I agree with you that. It was like, well, they're supposed to come up with fundraising, well, how can we come up with fundraising if we don't even know the buildings?
we're funding.
If we don't know what we're
We
funding.
don't have the authorization to do that.
Right, yeah.
So, all right, so I have, as the chairman, I'm asking for a consensus from all of you that you're comfortable with Larry and Sherry going in front of the special meeting of the town council to finish making the case.
I'm comfortable.
Definitely.
Okay, so you have the consensus there.
Okay.
Then, are you gonna present that at that meeting, asking for the committee redo, or do you wanna push that off till the 5th and we talk it out? Whatever you guys wanna do, I'm gonna give it to you.
I'm an old sales guy. I'm in there to get the order. I'm not gonna bring up anything about sunsetting until they take a vote and make a determination.
Right.
Okay, so
Good.
And
let's,
if they wanna bring, and it's up to them as to whether they're, it's on their agenda. It was one of the items that they were considering discussing, and if they bring it up, then we'll deal with
I
it.
agree, we roll with it.
So basically, you're gonna just reiterate what Kathy
I'm
presented,
not even sure we're gonna have to.
right?
I mean,
I-
I'm really hoping it's just
no,
gonna be
I think they're gonna give a different perspective in the sense that you've given us a charter, we've tried to do our best at it. Please we would like to move forward because we can't meet your charge. And if
I
your
don't-
charge has changed, then we need to know.
No, I don't think, I wanna focus on the vote at hand
yeah,
and the value of that proposal and what it means, for the process moving forward in the future of that building.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll have time to look at the proposal, which I thought was well done. And, it's gonna provide, some specific information on what needs to be done to get the building back in use, what needs to be restored and what issues need to be addressed. There's gonna be a recommendation on how to phase that work, kind of in a critical path way, and it's gonna be packaged up in a document that complies with, from my understanding,
Historical.
the historical grant
Chip, right.
framework
Right.
that we would have to meet anyway in order to get money through grants.
Right.
So, and it's not a huge amount of money.
Right, and so if they do assess you where you said it's on the agenda about the sunsetting of that's why I was saying the committee part, because you have stated it's on the council's agenda.
I haven't seen the agenda, but it was discussed during the meeting.
Discussed, I don't know if it,
We,
I'm thinking
I
this is a
think
blanket that.
the only thing-
Yeah, I don't,
only
gotta
thing I
see
wanna
that.
know is, as a consensus, you're gonna be the spokesman for that. How do we feel about the committee? Do we allow them to sunset us, or do we ask them to continue and move us in a different
I
direction?
think if we get the vote that I'm expecting, that based on what I observed on Tuesday night, on Monday night, that I don't think it's going to come up that they're going to sunset us. If it goes the other way, which anything can happen, then I think that's a real possibility. I don't think that's a real possibility right now, and I think it's more something let's deal with at the next meeting if we have to.
But if they deal with it that night,
Yeah.
if they ask us that night while you two are sitting up front, what's your gut feel?
If they ask us if we want to decommission what we're doing,
The committee,
yeah, I don't think they'll ask that unless the vote goes the way that I'm not expecting it to go. if it did go the wrong way, then I don't see there'd be any, I mean, if they aren't willing to give us the money, I'm not showing what the purpose of our meetings would be. But I think you and I are gonna have to go on the fly with it.
Yeah.
And if they do that, I mean,
So if they
Yeah.
change us, and this is just, if they change our charter from, okay, now that we've come up with a plan for structural,
yeah,
and the engineering plans get approved, and that becomes all
Right.
under the town jurisdiction. If they change us to a committee of, okay, what are you gonna do with the building, how are you gonna fundraise, and,
that's,
I
yeah.
don't know,
Yeah, yeah.
promote the building, are we comfortable with Sherry and Larry having the flexibility to do that?
would the group like to stay together, is
Well,
that what you're?
here's my personal feeling on that. If they decide they're gonna first of all, I wanna see what comes out of this meeting,
Yeah.
but my involvement in this committee will depend on what the charge is moving forward and whether I wanna commit the time and energy to that. So I have to, I have to see what their expectations are before I step up to it, and I can't speak for each of you individually and the people that aren't here tonight. So my personal feeling is that if they're discussing sunsetting it, or I would recommend to them that they consider recasting the charge
There you go.
based on their,
Right,
what they
Okay.
think we should be doing, and then I wanna wait and see what they come back with to determine whether I personally am gonna be involved moving forward.
because we
Okay,
all.
so
sorry.
are we
I
all
think that's a great
consensus
idea.
with that?
It's
Yeah.
Like
right
we're
on.
comfortable with that?
100%, because Kathy too, the one thing we had talked about moving forward with this is we are not capable of doing this detailed part of it. We need a project manager and then other people, but I think exactly what you said, like then they need to figure out what our charge is but we're not there yet, I don't think. I think we just gotta get this first hurdle out of the way, cause if they do this shows their commitment too, and then these other things will fall into place, but yeah, I think we just gotta get through the meeting.
I think brought up a great point. Let's get it straightened out, then ask if they're going to recharge the committee
Yeah.
or discharge this committee.
Well, I don't think we ask, I think we listen and find out what their strategy is.
I'm not saying that he's gonna use the words discharge this
That was a
committee.
good phrase though. the
It
way
was very good.
Very poetic, I like that. That was a
yeah.
good catchphrase.
What are they, now that you've accepted that we're going to be able to get Arco in here some more and get the stuff from Arco and see where this is all going, and they accept that and they say, okay, we're gonna have that. Okay, now that you've accepted that, have you got any new charge for the committee?
I mean, if they accept our code and we move to the next step with the town taking the lead on the structural part of it, our charge will change. Because,
100%.
Right.
But I understand it's gonna change, but they have to tell us how it's gonna change.
right,
Well,
and that's why I say we gotta listen on,
Listen, yeah. Just get the yes, we're going
we,
for it.
we don't have to necessarily bring it up, but if they do, and they ask you, what do you think, the charge then should be, maybe you don't wanna even get into that, but I'm just saying,
I don't.
that,
No.
I know you don't, I know, but they could ask you that,
Yeah.
and you could say, I don't wanna talk about it, or whatever you wanna do, but I think the public education and maybe looking at grant stuff,
Yeah.
if they want us to, is something perhaps we could do if we want to, if we wanna continue.
That's the whole thing. Once they hopefully agree,
Yeah.
then they have to recharge this committee.
Maybe they'll bring other
That's-
people.
That's okay.
And I understand that's okay. But they have to give us the feeling that that's what they want. And I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
That's what they want. And then you know, we can talk next week and see how we're gonna accomplish that. But they have to tell us where to go.
Yeah.
I think the onus should be put on the town council as to what they want the new committee to be. I think Larry has, and Sherry both have the ability to say, thank you for supporting us. Please, we're gonna go back and meet in December and let our people know whichever way it went. And, we will await what your decision is regarding the committee, because it's really not up to us anyway, so.
Yeah, that's true,
Yeah.
that's true. I mean, we do have some personal feelings about it. We don't want it torn down, but we
Well, you
understand,
can come and chain yourself with me to it if it goes to that, but.
but we understand all of this is going to incur a cost to the taxpayer. And, you know, and we're cognizant of that and, you know, so,
But past
What
meetings
time is it,
have,
Larry?
you know, we've already made certain plans
6:41.
Okay.
to raise money, and, you know, we're gonna have the thing out there and all kind of stuff. So we've already
yeah.
mulled that over, we've already
Yeah.
talked about it.
And that was in the presentation
And
that
now-
Derek and Larry gave in October.
Yeah.
That we are mulling all of these
We
ideas.
really are.
So I guess
We're-
I'm looking for a consensus that if we are not going to mention the change, it's on the council to
Yeah.
mention the change.
Yes.
Yeah.
And once they make the change, then we deal with it.
You know, Kathy, do we have a liaison from the council? I know
Yeah, I
Mike was
think it's-
coming in,
I don't know.
cause like every other committee
I
really.
think you
has-
are the
Oh,
town
yes.
liaison.
That's you.
Oh, but not a counselor, so they didn't
We
put a
didn't,
counselor,
we didn't
they
get a
just
counselor.
picked, like,
You are the
oh, okay.
Yeah,
liaison.
we've had different
Oh.
counselors in here.
Yeah, pop it,
We had-
yeah.
we had
'Cause
your
it wouldn't
husband and
hurt
I
your
just,
dad.
I think it's almost,
Cause I'm here
I don't think
because
it's
of-
healthy
Yeah,
that we go into the charter, or the charge until we find out if they're gonna fund the thing.
yeah, exactly.
And I would hope they would hold that off. And once we've got the charge
Yeah,
coming in December, they go then to if they're gonna dissolve us or change our charge, they do that. So in December, people have the knowledge of where this committee's going. And like Larry said, do I wanna put my time into it?
right.
Can I
Yeah.
put my time
Right.
into it?
And you know, Kathy, though, if they move forward on Tuesday night, then I think even if we're not quite ready with all the reports coming back, we can still do your warrant articles exceptional. You know, you're not asking for too much. It's going into a trust. They get it back if it falters. So I think we could still possibly, but we don't need to figure that out now, but I think we could still move forward with that. Like if we're getting enough support from the community and the council on it.
I mean, my personal opinion, just so you all know, is I kind of, if the funding isn't there to do the building, then I was gonna resign. Because I met the charge.
You mean if they need it?
Yeah, if they-
Right.
Yeah,
I'm kind of in the same,
yeah, me, yeah,
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
then
but
it's.
they don't accept.
We all got other things to do,
Yeah,
and
we
we're
put a lot of
donating our
time
time,
into it,
you
I
know?
agree.
And I almost, even if they do accept the proposal, will stick around till close of business. But I don't know if I can commit the kind of time frame. I will help wherever it's needed.
Yeah,
But if the charge changes where it's full-time fundraising, I don't know if I can do that either. So that's why I kinda want,
if we accomplish the goal of getting
right,
the ball
if
rolling.
if we get it approved,
Right.
if they approve it,
Right,
and we go into the structural part of
Yep.
it, I will stick that out till the end. But I'm not, but if
Yeah,
if
right.
it changes and the scope of what we've become because of that changes,
yeah,
then I need to rethink if I want,
yeah,
I think we all do.
yeah, cause it's already been a big commitment,
right,
which
this
is.
has turned into
Absolutely.
a much
it
larger
really
commitment.
has, you know, with our other committees and it's like,
Right.
you know, it's,
Absolutely.
and that's why I'm hoping we've been heard for.
I think Larry's got it handled in good
Yeah.
form, and,
Yeah. Good you had
you,
this
you,
meeting though.
good assist.
Oh.
Well, we
Good
kinda
assistant.
had to have this
Thank you.
meeting because of the Tuesday special meeting.
Yeah.
like, we need to
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
The other thing is, one of the agenda items were, get a bid for disposal, and no matter what happens, the town's gonna have to face that,
Well, then, my feeling is,
but we don't have to bring that up.
no, that's for, if the town decides they're gonna demolish the building, then they have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And they know that, I mean, that's been discussed in meetings, and Dave Wally knows that, and so I don't think we need to even address it. But, Ray made a good point that I get frustrated with this process because we kind of lose sight of some of the other really important things, only because we're focused on dealing with the structural issues and that. I think if we're gonna, the goal is gonna be achieved, whether we're involved or not, there needs to be public education. We gotta get I gotta believe there's a lot of people in this town that have no
No
idea
clue.
what that building is. Number two, the fundraising is a critical piece of it. Before you go to the townspeople, if you go to them and say, we don't have any idea where we're getting money except out of your tax dollars, it's gonna be an uphill
Especially
battle,
this
so.
year, very especially.
And I think if we don't go to the tax people without the fact that there is a plan in the making that can, I think part of the reason why we're all holding back, and I think there's fundraising opportunities, and I think we would have looked okay to go to a warrant because we would have been, but none of us could go that far till we know what kind of condition
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
what is it, the catch-22 or the chicken and whatever they say. Nobody knows what the shape of the structure is, and until we really get that assessment.
Yeah,
But
and
that commitment of a warrant article for the town is saying the town is willing to come up and participate with money, then you can go and look for grant, because
Right.
we got something in the game,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Then, when you go to Preservation Alliance, they're gonna help you out, but until you have something that says the town is going to have something in the game, you ain't gonna get much help as far as getting.
And that's why I think if they approve the proposal, that it still doesn't hurt to ask for a $75,000 taxpayer part funded, which is 1 cent, and ask if they take 75 out of the designated fund to use as a trust fund, to go for grants, and to do exactly like the Historical Society did the last time when they asked to remove the Reverend Morrison Meetinghouse, and any funds we didn't use went back to the taxpayer.
Which is perfect, really. Win-win.
Right, and if that passes, which we're hoping does, then, hold on, I'm losing my train of thought.
You gotta get it back.
Keep your chainsaw.
Had some, yeah, it had something about grant money, but,
You're on the right track, though, that, that once we get this ball rolling, then grants and fundraising and businesses,
yes, yes.
it'll come together, I
And-
think.
Yeah, and the education part of it, no, I was getting at is the New Hampshire Historical Society. We can designate the building, it doesn't, you can get out of it, okay? But if we designate that the building is historic, and we're telling the story to the general public, I think that's important. Then they can have some appreciation that the reasoning is, that's some old wooden building over there that's not of any use. No, it's a historic building.
Yeah,
It's part of the story, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and the story is the important part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes, very important part.
Okay, so
10
knowing
minutes
that it's time, does anyone have anything else, or does anyone have any more comments? Is there something we missed, really quick? Or is everybody confident what's gonna happen on Tuesday and where we stand?
I think that's the case. That's what we need to
I
do.
think so, Kathy.
Okay.
I'm out there.
Larry?
And-
Okay,
and
so
I'll
my
make a motion
question
to
is,
adjourn.
no, one quick thing, keep the 5th meeting?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
not here because we're on vacation.
Right, but we'll keep the 5th meeting. And then we'll decide at that point, because we'll have more answers of what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
All right, so now I will accept the motion to
I
adjourn.
make a motion that we adjourn.
Joe?
Larry makes the first, Frank seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we